October 2025, and thank you very much for tuning in to Parliament Television. 14:30 hours live proceedings of the House will be coming your way on Parliament Television, and to be with you on live transmission, my name is Pauline Mwanga.
Good afternoon, I'm Claudette Sindazo Jonga, and on sign language we have Jason Manda and Chola Kalma, and today business has resumed after being off for about 20 days. And so before we look at today's business, we'll have a look at a business that was transacted on the floor of the House on Thursday, the 2nd of October 2025.
Yes, Claudette, this is the last day the House sat before they went into the sector budget. So we look at the business on 2nd October 2025. Business started with a ministerial statement by the Minister of Green Economy and Environment, and he appraised the House on the projected weather forecast for the 2025-2026 rainy season, and informed the House that the government had upgraded weather forecasting facilities countrywide, and in order to enhance accuracy in the readings starting with the forthcoming rainy season. And after that, the House considered questions for oral answer number 26 to 29, understanding order 80.
After consideration of those questions, Ms. Sibongile Mwamba of Kasama Central Constituency did move a motion urging the House to adopt the report of the Parliamentary Select Committee appointed to scrutinize the presidential appointment of Dr. Pamela Sambo, Dr. Felicity Kalunga, Bishop Emmanuel Yona Chikoya, Ms. Panik Malao Chilufya, Ms. Laura Mary Miti, and Father Joseph Koma to serve as Vice Chairperson, and Commissioners of the Human Rights Commission Board, respectively, for the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 30th September 2025. And a notice was taken at 17:02 that a quorum was not formed, and Mr. Second Deputy Speaker ordered the bells to be rung, the House counted, and the quorum having been formed, business resumed.
And thereafter, the House adjourned accordingly at 18:08 hours. And now we shift our attention and look at the order paper for today, which is 28th October. Business is expected to start with announcements, if there will be any, and thereafter Her Honor the Vice President or Leader of Government Business in the House is going to give an indication of the business for the period 28th February to 7th November 2025.
We do expect urgent matters without notice, if there will be any, and we expect the Minister of Green Economy and Environment to deliver a ministerial statement on the comprehensive assessment of the Sino Metals pollution incident in Kalulushi district.
And that the House is expected to consider 9 questions that are coming under 9 questions to be considered understanding order 80, and one of the questions is coming from Dr. Andeleki, Member of Parliament for Katombola, and he's directed his question to Her Honor the Vice President. In the first part of the question, he wants to know how many former ministers who had overstayed in the office after the dissolution of Parliament in 2016 ordered by the Constitutional Court to refund the money, and the money they had earned and had paid back the money as of July 2025. And part B, how many former ministers had not paid back the money as of the date above, and part C, how much money in total was owed by the former ministers as at B, and part D, what measures the government is taking to recover the unpaid amounts.
Mr. Chanda of Kanchibia constituency is going to ask the Minister of Education a question in 2 parts: whether the government is aware that most of the newly recruited teachers in Kanchibia district come from other parts of the country to the disadvantage of local applicants, and if so, what measures are being taken to give priority to local applicants.
And question 32 coming from Mr. Joel Chibuya, Member of Parliament. He's directed his question to the Minister of Mines and Minerals Development. In part A of the question, He wants to know how many mine accidents were recorded countrywide from 2022 to 2024 year by year, and Part B, how many casualties were recorded arising from the accidents above, and Part C, what the major causes of the accidents were, and Part D, what measures are being taken to address the recurrence of mine accidents.
Mr. Ndaleki of Katombola constituency will ask the Minister of Defence whether the government has any plans to reintroduce the National Service Program for secondary school leavers countrywide. If so, when the plans will be implemented, whether the program will be compulsory, and what the estimated annual cost of the program is.
And we have a question coming from Isoka Member of Parliament Marjorie Nakaponda, and her question is directed to the Minister of Health. And Part A of the question, she wants to find out whether the government has any plans to procure beds and other furniture for the following health facilities in Isoka districts, and these are Isoka District Hospital, and others include Chizongolo Rural Health Post, Nazareth Rural Health Post, Mulongo Rural Health Post, Londomaka Rural Health Post, and also Lwalizili Rural Health Post Maternity. And she also did mention Nachisungu Rural Health Post Maternity Annex, and Mwaiseni Rural Health Post, Prison Rural Health Post, Longwe Rural Health Post, and Imparakata Rural Health Post. And she also wanted to know, if so, why not the plans were not, why when the plans will be implemented, and if, and Part C, if there are no such plans, why?
Mr. Ibanda of Muchinga will ask the Minister of Energy whether there are any plans to electrify the following facilities in Muchinga Parliamentary constituency. That's Masase Primary School and Masase Rural Health Care Center. And if so, when the plans will be implemented, and if there are no such plans, why?
We have a question coming from Kalabo Central Member of Parliament, Mr. Chinga Miyutu, and he wants to find out from the Minister of Mines and Minerals Development, in the first part of the question, on what major mineral deposits are found in Zambia. Part B, which minerals above are currently being mined, and Part C, how many mining companies are operating in Zambia as of July 2025, and Part D, what minerals companies are mining, and Part E, whether the government has any plans to nationalize all the mines in Zambia, and Part F, if there are no such by.
Petauke Central Member Mr. of Water Development and Sanitation, whether the government has any plans to conduct an assessment of dams in Petauke district, and follow. And just about now, the Speaker's procession making its way to the chamber, signifying Tuesday, 28th October 2025. Present viewing.
Honorable Members of Parliament, Madam Speaker.
And the King of Zambia, proud and free, land of wealth and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for our rights. We want freedom's fight, oh, and strong and free. Africa is our own motherland, fashioned with and blessed by those who blend. Let us all have people going as one, brown free. Praise be to God, praise be. Bless our great Zambia, remain we stand under the flag of our land. Zambia, praise to thee, oh one, strong and free.
Prayer. Who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people. We beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our consideration, in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you have committed to our church. Amen. We still don't have a quorum. Please, can you ring the bells if they are not ringing? Oh, it's ringing, okay.
The House is yet to resume, and this is due to the fact that the House has not yet constituted a quorum, which is 1/3 of the total number of members of Parliament. The Zambian Parliament, of course.
For Mongo, please just wait. We are just short of a few members to form a quorum. Or is helping the... Oh, okay, then you can help. Mm. Mhm. Tomorrow. Mhm. We have members who have joined us virtually, so... Sure. Okay, thank you. So we now have a quorum. Honorable members, I have a few announcements to make. The first one is, honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the Speaker's Gallery of the following members of staff from the Parliament of Uganda. Dr. Robert Tamukasibwe, Assistant Director and Lead of Delegation. Ms. Judith Taka, Principal Clerk Assistant. Ms. Merina Varungi, Principal Clerk Assistant. Mr. Peter Odeke, Senior Clerk Assistant. Mr. Punga Muhammad Rikidi, Senior Clerk Assistant. Ms. Doreen Atuhare, Clerk Assistant. Mr. Andrew Gamusi George, Clerk Assistant. Mr. Emmanuel Opio, Clerk Assistant. And Ms. Sauda Babire, Clerk Assistant. I wish, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, to receive the guests, our guests, and warmly welcome them in our midst. I thank you. The next announcement, honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public galleries of the following pupils and teachers from the following schools. City of Hope Secondary School in Chilanga District. Mukando Boarding School in Chiritambo District. Magoye Secondary School in Mazabuka District. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I welcome all our visitors in our midst. You are welcome, most welcome. You may take your seats. Thank you. The next announcement, honorable members, I wish to remind the House that the process of reviewing the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2024 commenced about 2 weeks ago. In this regard, a circular dated 15th October 2025 was issued to all honorable members seeking their views or proposals aimed at streamlining the standing orders in order to enhance the smooth running of business in the House. Honorable members are reminded that the deadline for submissions of proposals is this Friday, 31st October 2025, and are encouraged to submit their proposals within the remaining time. I thank you. The last announcement, I wish to inform the House that the Institute for Parliamentary Studies and Training is carrying out consultations on curriculum design and development for members of Parliament. As part of the consultation process, the Institute has developed questionnaires for purposes of identifying capacity needs for honorable members. In this regard, questionnaires will be distributed to all honorable members through their pigeonholes. Honorable members are requested to submit filled-in questionnaires to the Director, Journals and Tables Office Department on before Friday, 31st October 2025. All honorable members are urged to take keen interest in this process by providing the necessary input. I thank you. Business statement, Her Honor the Vice President.
Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that the House Business Committee met on Thursday, 23rd October 2025 to determine the schedule business of the House for the period 28th October to 7th November 2025. Madam Speaker, the House Business Committee resolved to lay before the House business for consideration in the next 2 weeks as set out below. A. Announcements. The Honorable Speaker may make announcements if there will be any. B. Rulings. The Honorable Speaker will render rulings if there will be any. C. Ministerial statements. The following ministerial statements will be presented during the period. Ministry of Green Economy and Environment will present a ministerial statement on the subject of status of the comprehensive assessment for the cyanometals pollution incident. This will be considered 28th October 2025. Ministry of Water Development and Sanitation will present a ministerial statement on the subject, strategic water supply interventions in Western Province. This will be tabled, considered on 30th October 2025. D. Report on international conferences. The following report on international conference will be considered. The name of the report is on Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, CPA. The subject matter will be report of the Zambian delegation to the 54th Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, CPA, Africa Region Conference, held in Banjul, the Gambia, from 10th to 16th August 2025. This report will be considered on the 5th of November 2025. E. Motion of supply. The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning will move the motion of supply on Tuesday, 4th November 2025. The motion will be debated for a period of 10 sitting days in line with the Standing Order 170 part of the National Assembly Zambia 2024. F. Bills. The following bills will be the name of the bill, the Small Claims Court Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill 16 of 2025. This will be second stage and will be considered on 4th November 2025. The other bill is the Cotton Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025. This will be second reading. This will be considered on the 5th of November 2025. The other bill is the Zambia Institute of Procurement and Supply Bill, National Assembly Bill number 11 of 2025, second reading. It will be considered on the 7th of November 2025. The Occupational Health and Safety Bill, National Assembly Bill number 17 of 2025. second reading. This will be considered on 7th of November 2025. G, Parliamentary Committee Reports. The following committee reports will be considered during the period. The name of the committee: Local Governance, Housing and Chiefs. The subject matter will be the ratification of the agreement establishing Shelter Afrique Development Bank. This will be considered on 30th of October 2025. The other committee is on planning and budgeting. The subject matter will be the consideration of the 2026 annual borrowing plan. This will be considered on 31st October 2025. The other report will be on transport, the Committee on Transport, Works and Supply. The subject matter will be ratification of the North-South Corridor Memorandum of Understanding. This will be considered on the 6th of November 2025. H, private members' motion. The following private members' motions will be presented during the period. Honorable Mr. A. Mumba MP will present a private member's motion on the subject entitled Create a National Miners' Day. This will be on the 29th of October 2025. Mr. Bimpundo MP will present a private member's motion entitled Restrict the Mining of Gold, Sugilite and Emeralds to the State. This will also be considered on the 29th of October. I, questions. Honorable ministers will respond to 45 questions for oral and written answer. The questions are contained in Appendix 1 of this statement, which will be circulated to all honorable members. Further, the details of the questions are contained in the notice of questions for Friday, 12th September 2025, which has already been circulated to all honorable members. Honorable members will also respond to urgent questions under standing number 8.2 of the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2024, if there will be any. J, questions on standby. The questions on standby to replace questions that may not be placed on the order paper on the designated day due to unforeseen circumstances are contained in Appendix 2, which will be circulated to all honorable members. I thank you, Madam.
Thank you very much. Urgent matters without notice. The Honorable Member for Chitambo.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my urgent matter without notice is supposed to go to the Minister of Infrastructure and Urban Development. Now that he is not here, I will direct it to Her Honor the Vice President. Madam Speaker, the stretch of the Great North Road from Serenje to Lavushmanda is in a very bad state. And Madam Speaker, accidents are happening every hour, every morning. During the night is worse. And we've continued to lose lives on that stretch. Madam Speaker, it has come to be an urgent matter today because the rains have hit ground. And Madam Speaker, you might be aware that with the rains, the potholes now will never be seen whenever these vehicles are driving on that stretch. Madam Speaker, we need an urgent intervention from government to avert these accidents that are occurring every day on that stretch. Madam Speaker, I need your serious intervention. I submit.
Thank you very much. Let me just... Sorry, technology, we forget after a few weeks. Honorable Member for Chitambo, thank you very much for that issue that you have raised. I know the issue of roads. Roads is a big issue. Before we adjourned, business was suspended. We heard about the issue of the Kazungula Road, Livingston Kazungula Road. We've heard about Mongu, Western Province, from Tatayoyo to from Katunda Tunnel. All those roads need to be worked on. And also I understand, Honorable Member, you've put in a question which is being processed. So maybe we can wait for your question to be processed, then the Honorable Minister can address that question. So there is no need to raise an urgent matter when you have already submitted a question. So that is what they call eating with two hands on a lighter note. The next one, the Honorable Member for Iteshiteshi.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to ask an urgent matter without notice. Madam Speaker, my matter is directed at the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, Honorable Jack Mwimbu, who is not here, but I will direct it to the Vice President. So, Madam Speaker, ECZ commenced the mass voter registration on 13th October, and they've got a very ambitious target of registering about 3.5 million new voters across the country. Madam Speaker, we're just returning from our constituencies, but alas, we have observed that the sensitization, Madam Speaker, is not adequate, particularly in Southern Province. Sensitization is below par, Madam Speaker. Actually, it is not there. I was doing my own analysis in Itezitezi the last 2 days. In the Central District, only 2 people, Madam Speaker. At Katawa, at Apuyu Primary School, only 2 people. They registered in 2 days. As if that is not enough, Madam Speaker, there are reports of machines heating up, breaking down, and this is the picture in the entire Southern Province. Now, Madam Speaker, we are wondering whether there's something behind this, but all in all, Madam Speaker, we want to understand what exactly is transpiring so that together we ensure that our people exercise their rights in 2026 during the election. So I strongly, Madam Speaker, seek your guidance on this important issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Iteshiteshi, for raising that concern and bringing that matter to the House. I know that the Electoral Commission of Zambia has embarked on voter registration, and from the mamas in the House, I can see that there are challenges concerning this process and how it's proceeding. And I recall that even the President mentioned that some kits were breaking down. So I think this is a countrywide problem. So these are the issues that need to be brought to the House so that the House can be informed and also the general public can be informed, and also it's by way of sensitization. So I don't know, maybe Her Honor the Vice President, since that office falls under her authority, maybe she can come to the house. I don't know when can Wednesday or Thursday? Friday. I don't. Thursday. So they honor the Vice President to come to the House to render a ministerial statement on the voter registration process, how it is proceeding, and also to encourage people to go and register themselves as voters. Thank you very much. The next one, and will be the last one, the Honorable Member for Kasenengo.
Madam Speaker, thank you for this opportunity for the people of Kasenengo, Madam Speaker, to raise an urgent matter without notice. Madam Speaker, I just arrived this morning around 4 from my constituency. Madam Speaker, it's not Mozambique, it's Kasenengo constituency. Madam Speaker, we have a serious challenge in my constituency, and this matter is directed at the Minister of Agriculture. Everywhere I went, in almost every ward, Madam Speaker. Unfortunately, I do not know, Madam Speaker, where the problem is. Maybe the Minister of Agriculture may try to explore other means. People in Kasenengo, Madam Speaker, are already eating what they call sopano. When I inquired what that sopano is, they actually even made me eat that sopano. It's a porridge made from gaga or maize bran. The reason given is that they do not have maize. And this is just October. And I was wondering, Madam Speaker, I went to Nongwe Ward, I went to Mboza Ward, we may downplay this issue, but you do not know the impact it's causing on this government. Take this matter very seriously. And it is being directed to the Minister of Agriculture. That's why I'm saying I do not know where the problem is. Maybe the Minister of Agriculture may want to explore other means. In October, in the midst of a bumper harvest, people in Kasenengo are already eating what they call sopano. And they add what they call a sweetener to make it at least taste better. I did twice. They gave me to taste that porridge. Madam Speaker, this matter needs serious consideration, serious urgent. I seek your indulgence, Madam Speaker.
Good, honorable members. When the honorable member for Kasenengo stood up to talk about maize, I thought he was, and food reserve agents, I thought he was going to talk about the non-payment of farmers, which I think is more important matter. But now when he is talking about that sopano, this sopano is coming from where? It's supposed to come from maize, isn't it? So gaga is supposed to come from maize. So where are they taking the actual maize for them to eat? I'm just asking rhetoric questions. They don't need an answer. But I'm surprised if you can have gaga, where are they taking the maize, which they cannot eat? So please, honorable member for Kasenengo, bring factual statements to the House. We understand that if people are eating gaga instead of maize, it's not good for anyone. But then these issues should be factual. There is so much maize, there is so much meal in the market. People are not even buying. I'm speaking from experience myself because I'm a miller. We have meal, but people are not buying right now. So that matter is not admitted. We make progress. I have permitted the Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment to present a ministerial statement. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Madam Speaker, I wish to thank you for this opportunity to render this ministerial statement meant to update this august House on the Kafue River pollution incident involving Sino-Metals Leach Zambia Limited, as well as the progress made in the comprehensive environmental assessment being undertaken by the Zambia Environmental Management Agency, ZEMA. Madam Speaker, during my last update on 10th July 2020, I informed this august House that ZEMA had issued a public call for expression of interest to engage competent and qualified experts to carry out a thorough and comprehensive assessment of the incident. The assessment is also aimed at determining the extent of the pollution and restoration measures. Following this call, a total of 14 firms submitted their expression of interest. A multidisciplinary evaluation committee was subsequently constituted to evaluate the submissions in accordance with the Public Procurement Act. After a transparent and competitive process, Applied Science and Technology Associates was awarded the contract at the contract sum of 29 million kwacha to undertake the comprehensive assessment and make recommendation to ZEMA. I wish to emphasize, Madam Speaker, that the full cost of this assessment, including any subsequent remediation activities, are being borne by Sino-Metals Leach Zambia Limited in line with the polluter pays principle provided for under the Environmental Management Act number 12 of 2011. Madam Speaker, the consultant mobilized on site on 22nd September 2025, making the commencement of the 2.5 months assessment period. The scope of this assessment covers 3 major components, namely, 1, the biophysical assessment covering the land, water resources, air, flora, fauna, and systems during and after the pollution. Number 2, the socio-economic assessment covering the impact on communities and their livelihoods, health, and infrastructure and culture. And number 3, identification of mitigation, remediation, and restoration actions. Madam Speaker, since mobilization, the consultant has undertaken several critical activities, including 1, sampling and analysis of tailings material to determine its physical...
Order, honorable members. The honorable minister is rendering a ministerial statement, and I expect the other honorable ministers to listen and render him support. May the minister continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, since mobilization, the consultant has undertaken several critical activities, including, number 1, sampling and analysis of tailings material to determine its physical and chemical properties. Number 2, sampling of surface water and sediment sampling of the affected surface water bodies. These are Chambeshi Stream, Mwambashi River, and the East tributaries, and Kafue River. Number 3, held consultative meetings with civil society organizations that are active in environmental and governance issues. Number 4, radioactivity assessment around TD15 by the Radiation Protection Authority. Number 5, soil sampling around TD15. Number 6, socio-economic assessment of the affected communities. Number 7, ecological assessment of the affected surface water bodies. And number 8, agronomy assessment of the affected farms. Madam Speaker, on 12th October 2025, the consultant submitted a preliminary assessment report, which is the first substantive deliverable under the contract. The report highlighted the need for urgent interventions to expedite cleanup and restoration works and to prevent secondary pollution in view of the impending rain season. Consequently, on the 17th October 2025, my ministry through ZEMA directed Sinometals Leach Zambia Limited to undertake the following immediate actions and provide a progress report by 14th November 2025. Number 1, construct a catch drain downstream of TD15 to collect runoff rainwater from TD15 and other contaminated sites to prevent secondary pollution of the water bodies. Number 2, construct a minimum of 4 silt traps between TD15 and TD6 to trap tailings that are likely to be washed from upland and runoff rainwater and prevent deposition of silt into the nearby wetland. Number 3, stabilize TD15 before the onset of the rain season and set up real-time monitoring. Number 4, plant trees at strategic points to prevent soil erosion. Number 5, undertake liming of fields affected by tailings discharge along Chambeshi Stream, Mwambashi, and Kafue rivers to raise the pH of the soil. And number 6, purge the Chambeshi streams which has been found to have thick deposits of lime sludge. Madam Speaker, although these directives were issued on 17th October 2025, implementation has already commenced on the ground. The current status of works is as follows. A, construction of catch drains and silt traps. Madam Speaker, preliminary dredging and re-engineering of the canals have been completed. The next step is the actual placement and installation of the traps, which is by 30th October 2025. These interventions, Madam Speaker, aimed at improving stormwater management and reducing the risk of contaminated runoff entering nearby water bodies. B, stabilization of tailings dam 15, TD15. Stabilization works, Madam Speaker, on TD15 are progressing steadily with over 80% of the work completed. The works are intended to reinforce the structural integrity of the dam and prevent further leakage or collapse risk. Full completion is targeted for 30th October 2025. C, dislodging of Chambeshi Stream. Madam Speaker, identification has been completed. The dislodging exercise for the Chambeshi Stream was scheduled to commence on 22nd October 2025, and I want to confirm that this activity has since commenced. This activity, Madam Speaker, will focus on removing deposited sediments and contaminated sludge to restore normal water flow and water quality downstream. D, liming of affected fields. This activity was scheduled to commence on 27th October 2025. And again, I wish to confirm that this activity commenced yesterday. My ministry has commenced yesterday, Madam Speaker. However, my ministry has received indicating that some communities in the Lusale stream have expressed interest to start land preparation works in the fields in readiness for cultivation. Madam Speaker, let me express in the strongest terms the government's dismay and concern over this development. It must be noted, Madam Speaker, that the affected areas remain environmentally unstable, the residual contaminants that may pose serious health risks to both humans and livestock. Sorry, Madam Speaker. The affected areas remain environmentally unstable with residual contaminants that may pose serious health risks to both humans and livestock. Any premature disturbance of the soil, Madam Speaker, may also reverse the ongoing restoration efforts. I therefore wish to strongly urge all community members to refrain from entering, cultivating, or carrying out any activities in these restricted zones until ZEMA has completed the necessary verification and formally confirms that the land is safe for agricultural use once again. Madam Speaker, in addition to the assessment that is underway, the government, through the multi-agency hotspot mapping exercise, has been independently monitoring water quality across the Copper Belt. I'm pleased, Speaker, to inform the House that the latest sampling data for September 2025 from 21 sites indicates that the concentrations of heavy metals, including cadmium, cobalt, manganese, and zinc, are within the safe limits of the Zambia Bureau of Standards ZS 1182/2021. The ambient water quality, for ambient water quality. This is an indication that our water bodies are on a firm path of recovery. Madam Speaker, let me end my statement by assuring your members and the nation at large that my ministry and the entire UPND New Dawn government remain unwavering in its commitment to transparency, environmental accountability, and the protection of public health. I therefore urge all stakeholders, including the media, civil society, and the general public, to continue engaging with us based on verifiable, substantiated reports. Together, we can ensure that our environment is fully restored, our people are protected, and that such an incident does not happen again. Madam Speaker, I thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable members are now free to ask questions on points of clarification on the ministerial statement presented by the Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment. The Honorable Member for Kantanshi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, thank you for the update. But whilst the update sounds encouraging, I think our people out there are a little bit more concerned. Right now, you have the residents of Karulushi who have signed a matter for. You have got a company which was hired to do the cleanup exercise in terms of consultant services, that is Drizit. It has sued Sinometo and Zema. At the same time, just 2-3 days ago, Sinometo sued Drizit for $8.6 million. Now you are saying we are on the path for our water to be clean. What message do you have for our people out there? Because for these companies, I believe it's about money between them, but our people whose health stands at risk, what message do you have for them? Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank Honorable Mumba, Member of Parliament for Kantanshi constituency, for that question. Madam Speaker, as indicated in the statement, the government is doing everything possible to ensure that the health of our people is protected. To that effect, we have scaled up, Madam Speaker, the the water quality to ensure that the water being supplied to our people on the Copper Belt is of acceptable standard, but also to ensure that the treatment is upscaled so that people continue to receive acceptable quality water. Madam Speaker, in areas where they don't have a reticulated water system, ZEMA gave directives in the restoration order to Sinometals to ensure that those areas are supplied with water using water bowsers, and this exercise has continued. All this is being done, Madam Speaker, to ensure that the lives of our people, the health of our people is not compromised. As regards to the court actions, yes, Madam Speaker, there are court disputes which I will not get into, but suffice to say that this has not affected our response to ensure that we deal with this problem. And this is why earlier on in my update, I did update the House that ZEMA, working with various stakeholders, we did invoke Section 107 of the Environmental Management Act to ensure that we took over the process, and this is the process that has commenced and is ongoing, and we're very hopeful that we should be able to deal with this problem and ensure remediation and restoration. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Chimwemwe.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honourable Minister, we appreciate that you've actually finally found a consultant who's going to bring in a report. However, you've taken too long, Honourable Minister, from the time the pollution occurred up until now. Honourable Minister, we know that the water utility companies have got facilities to actually check on the purity of water. The biggest issue here we have is the people that live along that stream. Most of them depend on borehole water or what you call it, wells. Honourable Minister, ZEMA, neither has your ministry sent any person to go and check whether the pollution has actually seeped through our drinking water. And that is the biggest concern from the people of Chimwemwe. Do you have any intentions to quickly send a team just to comb up the whole area to assure us that truly the water that we are consuming from boreholes and from the wells is free from any heavy metals? Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honourable Minister of Green Economy and the Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank Honourable Banda MP for Chimwemwe for that question. What I'm not sure about, Madam Speaker, is whether Chimwemwe constituency or parts of the Chimwemwe constituencies within the area that was contaminated in order for the boreholes to be affected. But I want to assure the Member of Parliament that for all the areas that were affected, Madam Speaker, this area has been mapped, and from time to time we have inspectors that are going on the ground, working together with experts from the Ministry of Water Development and Sanitation, working with experts from WAMA, working with experts from Ministry of Mines, working with experts from Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock and other line ministries. We have been sending our inspectors to check to ensure that the water that is being consumed from various sources is safe. Now, I want to emphasize here that the area that was affected by this pollution, Madam Speaker, and for those residents in the area that was affected by this pollution, and those people that are depending on wells and boreholes, in those areas, we have directed Nkana Water to work with Sinometals to ensure that water is supplied using boreholes. Now, this might not involve the boreholes in Chimwemwe constituency if Chimwemwe constituency is not in that catchment area where the pollution occurred. But if it is, I can assure you that the people are going around to check, and those that are not connected to the water supply system are receiving water through the water bowsers. And I've received also additional information that Timama constituency is one of the areas where we've actually been collecting the samples to test the water. So should there be any areas, Honorable Member of Parliament, in your constituency which was affected, the areas which were affected by this pollution, and you feel or you have heard that the inspectors have not reached there, please alert us so that we could send people there to also expand the scope of that coverage and collect the samples. I think our desire, working with all of you members of Parliament, the Copper Belt, particularly those constituencies that are within the area that was affected by this accident, our desire is to ensure that we work together, collect as much information as possible, which is meant to help us respond and ensure that our people don't get exposed to any contaminants. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Shuangandu.
Most appreciated, Madam Speaker. With your indulgence, Madam Speaker, just allow me, before I pose the follow-up question to the Minister, to acknowledge and press it on record that today, the 28th of October, we commemorate the 11th anniversary of one of the gallant sons of this country, who was the 5th Republican President, Mr. Michael Chilufya Sata, and may his soul continue to rest in eternal peace. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Minister has given us an update, but I would like to take him back to the point where the American embassy raised an alarm, which then culminated into several contradictory statements. And a number of allegations were raised. And the important institution under your ministry, the Zambia Environmental Management Authority, was singled out for having been complacent, and there were corrupt allegations. Can you confirm to the nation through this August House whether the CEO at Zema actually fled the country only to go and resign where he ran to for these reasons and these allegations that were leveled against that institution? Can you confirm? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank Honorable Kampiongo, the Rangando, for that question. Madam Speaker, I speak for the government of Zambia as regards to environmental issues and issues pertaining to the ministry. So obviously, I wouldn't want to be dragged into the issues that were raised by other people, but if they are directed to my ministry, I'll be able to respond. As regards the allegation that the CEO for Zema ran away and resigned from elsewhere, again, Madam Speaker, it would be unethical to drag the minister into speculations. When I stand here, I give information which is factual and not to be dragged into those speculations. I want to end there. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Wacha.
Thank you very much, Honorable Madam Speaker.
Honorable Member for Wacha, there is an indication for a point of order. Honorable Member for Shuangandu, what's the point of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I raise this point of order pursuant to Standing Order 71. Is the Honorable Minister in order to brush aside a very serious question I've posed to him related to his ministry? Zema, very critical institution, Madam Speaker, is under his ministry. Can he confirm whether it was rumors or it's true that the CEO for Zema has resigned, and he actually resigned after fleeing the country. If it's not true, let him confirm, Madam Speaker. I wish to seek for guidance.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister was, from what he said, maybe we can allow the Minister to explain so that I don't bring myself into the debate. Honorable Minister, a point of order has been raised that to find out whether the Chief Executive Officer of Zema did not resign and fled the country. If you are aware.
Madam Speaker, I will repeat, I will be very reluctant to speculate whether someone ran away. What I present here is official position, so I would ask again, Madam Speaker, that the MP does not drag me into speculation, but I'll press it on record that yes, the Director General for Zema resigned. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The fact that it has been acknowledged he has resigned, that's sufficient, because we cannot debate him. He's not part of this House. And also I wanted to mention earlier on when a foreign nation was mentioned, again, that is against our rules. We cannot debate other countries. So, honorable members, let's be compliant with our standing orders. Next, the honorable member for Chipili. Sorry, honorable member for Wacha. Yes, you may continue.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. And I want to thank you, Minister, for the update that you have provided this afternoon through your ministerial statement. And through you, Madam Speaker, Minister, does government, through your ministry, has an idea on how much Sinometo is going to spend, that is in undertaking the cleanup activities in all the affected areas? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and the Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I want to thank the Member of Parliament for Wacha, Honorable Mshanga, for that question. Madam Speaker, at this stage, it will be too early and premature to establish the costs that will be involved in the cleanup, remediation, and restoration exercise. But at an opportune time, I will come to the House to announce the costs that will have been involved at the right stage. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Chipili.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, thank you for your update. But I want to find out from you. You have stated very, very clearly in your statement what is going on there, on assessing what is happening there. But I'm concerned one part where you have not mentioned about the people along that river who have already consumed this water, whether they are safe, whether you have already taken them to hospital to find out whether their health is okay or not. Can you confirm what you have done to those people who have already consumed the same water which was contaminated before we start clearing the whatever we were doing there? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank the Member of Parliament for Speedy for that question. Madam Speaker, like I said earlier, should there be any Member of Parliament who has information of anyone or people who have been affected, I think it would be appropriate that this information is brought to our attention so that those people can be helped. But I want to say, Madam Speaker, that when this accident happened on the 18th February 2025, we raised awareness messaging to the various communities to alert them that they must not come into contact with the water which had been contaminated at that time, and that water will be supplied to those communities using water bowsers, and that is what has been happening from that time. So if there are any people that are reported to have consumed the water which was contaminated, please alert us. But I want to say that as a ministry, we've not received any information. As government, we've not received any information to the effect that there are people that consumed the contaminated water. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Chipili, are you aware of anyone who has been harmed by this contaminated water?
Madam Speaker, when that thing had happened, people were not aware, and they continued drinking that water. So my question is, before the government had to move in, what measure have they taken to those people who were taking that water? That's my question. Whether they have been taken to hospital to find out their health, that's my concern.
Okay, Honorable Member for Chipili, I was only asking because you can only help if you know the person that has been affected by this water. So if you are aware of anyone, please advise them to see the Minister of Green Economy and Environment for any assistance. Because for now, there is no information. We don't know of anyone who has been affected negatively by this water. The Honorable Member for Kalulush.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I just want to join other members of Parliament that have acknowledged that 28th of October, we as a Patriotic Front remember a very gallant son of the soil, the 5th Republican President, Mr. Michael Chilufya-Sata, and our hope is that he continues to rest in peace. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the people of Kalusale, who are in my constituency, in as much as the Minister has put up a report, first and foremost, Zema, Madam Speaker, is a thorn in the flesh for the people of Kalulushi in terms of pollution. Their non-visibility in the constituency has caused a lot of harm. And I just want to answer the question, Madam Speaker, on behalf of the MP of Chipili.
The Honorable Member for Kalulushi, just ask your question, our point of clarification. Do not engage in other people's questions or debate. Please ask your question.
Guided, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in as much as we appreciate that the ministry is doing an assessment, a lot of things are happening on the ground that the minister is not aware of. For example, the people of Kalusale are held hostage as I speak. There is a huge presence of police officers who are not allowing them to leave the area. I don't know whether the area is now prohibited. Two, the people of Kalusale were assured that they will be given farming land because this is a farming season now. They have not been given the farming land on which they should farm. Madam Speaker, as we are doing the assessment, it's not producing. And this is also a worrisome issue because our miners might be laid off sooner or later because there is no production that is happening. So in the event, and all these issues of court cases, Minister, can you give a clear roadmap for the people of Kalusale, because those are the most affected? Why are they heavily guarded by police, Zambia police, and they are not allowed to leave Kalusale? If they are going to leave Kalusale, they have to feed into cyanometals. So we are having a lot of issues in Karusale as in regards to accessibility of food, which they are able to get from Chambishi. They are not able to do that. They are not able to do their farming. The compensation which was given to them as area member of parliament, I can assure you, is completely finished. And pollution is still taking place, even as I stand here in Karusale and Karulushi at large. Minister, what is the roadmap, especially with Zema? Zema, it is a huge problem in our constituency. Zema is not doing its job. Today, Karulushi, Karusale, when you go there around 16 hours, you cannot even visibly see what is happening.
Do not debate, just ask your question. Do not debate your question. Just ask, and I'm sure you have asked.
Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's been difficult really to pick the exact question from the chair lady, from the member of parliament for Karuroshi. Sorry. Yeah. So it's been difficult, but first, Madam Speaker, let me, with your permission, go back to the question of the member of parliament for Chipidi, who earlier had said that when the accident happened, people continued consuming water without knowing. I wanted to just correct that picture. It is not true that there was water being supplied when the accident happened. When the accident happened and the report was done, immediately before the pollution got to the intake, the commercial water utility shut down. So there was no water that was being supplied. So there was a shutdown. So it was not possible that people could have been supplied with water that was contaminated because there was a shutdown. Now, going to the issues that, some of the issues that the MP for Karulushi raised, Madam Speaker, mining entities have regulations. And if there are people that are living within the mining activities, there are regulations there that are put to them on how they must move. So if there are restrictions in the movement, it can only be people that are squatting within the mining area, but also to ensure that they do not affect the work that is ongoing. Madam Speaker, there's an assessment that is being done now, and if we are going to allow people to move around, then they will affect the assessment. They will also tamper with the evidence of what has happened on the ground. And it is only right that the place which is being assessed, the place that was affected by the pollution, is combed and we control the movement so that we don't interfere with the evidence that is being collected. So I can only urge the Member of Parliament for Karurushi to cooperate with this investigation that is going on, if I may put it that way. The assessment is meant to investigate, to get all the necessary information so that we can all know the extent of this pollution. And please let us work together to ensure that the people that live in the affected area cooperate with the people. But going forward, all of us, including the members of parliament who are in the constituencies where there are these mining activities, let us work together to ensure that we avoid people squatting in the mining areas, because it is not safe to have people squatting in the mining area. So it is not true that the people are being held hostage, but if it is true, let the member of parliament put it in writing to government through my ministry so that we can further make follow-ups. As regards to Zema, yes, we may have challenges, but we are working round to ensure that the visibility of Zema is enhanced. And I'm happy that in the proposed budget for 2026, there's been an increment in that area, the environmental management area, and we hope that we can also improve, Madam Speaker, on the working tools for Zema so that we improve and increase visibility in the affected areas, including Karurushi. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Bahati.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Minister, for your statement. Honorable Minister, about 50 million liters of highly toxic waste was released into the Kafua River, Madam Speaker, when the dam collapsed. And Madam Speaker, according to certain media reports, the toxins contained heavy radioactive materials such as uranium. And Minister, I just wish that in your statement you had indicated the actual levels of potential hydrogen that is in the various streams that were contaminated. Potential hydrogen is pH. Madam Speaker, there are so many mines from Chingola to Kitwe, so many mines along the Kafue River that are mining and releasing toxins in the Kafue River. So, Minister, I wanted to find out from you, what punitive measures are you putting in place to ensure that all those who are contaminating our rivers are severely punished? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I want to thank the Member of Parliament for Bahati for that question. Madam Speaker, the statistics that the Member of Parliament is quoting are speculative because, like he has said, that he got those figures from the media houses. But, Madam Speaker, to date there has not been any comprehensive assessment undertaken to confirm the figures. But I think let us wait until the assessment is completed. This assessment is going to give us the actual situation regarding this accident. But all of us in here can pick different figures, but until the competent people, and in this case the company that has been contracted to conduct the assessment, comes up to give us a comprehensive report from the country in terms of the amounts of pollution that went into the environment and what has been done to correct that. Until such a time, I can only urge the Parliament to wait. In terms of the pH, Madam Speaker, I want to confirm that, like I said in the statement, we've continued sampling, checking. At the time of the accident, we have been checking the pH levels in the water, and around February and March, when the pH levels were very low, meaning they were abnormal, the water was acidic, you saw us undertaking the liming exercise to lime the water bodies to ensure that the pH levels were brought under normal. As we speak, in all tests that we've been carrying out, I can confirm to this August House and through this House to the country that the pH levels in the water bodies is normal as per the Bureau, Zambia Bureau of Standards requirements. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, Honorable Member for Kalurus, you've already asked one question. Are you asking me to practice positive discrimination because of gender or anyway, since you are the most affected, if I will exercise my discretion and allow you to ask another question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Minister, I just wanted to confirm with you that the people of Kalusale are not living in the area. In case you did not know, there is a government gazetted school in Kalusale. The people of Kalusale have been given a school by government and they've been living in that area for a long time. And I think the effect was only because of the spillover into their area. So here it is Sino-Metals, not the people of Kalusale, that have abrogated the law. And I just wanted to say, it's worrisome. People have school-going children, and I'm sure you're aware that this is examination time. And if there are restrictions in how the movement of the people of Karusale is going to be by metro, have a lot of children, because some of them have to travel to other schools, secondary schools, write their exams. And also there is voter registration. In case you didn't know, the people of Karusale have not been given an opportunity to register because of the heavy presence of the police, and trenches have been dug. Isn't that an infringement of their right as the people of Karusale, especially that they are Zambians? And also,
the question, Honorable Member, you are debating.
The question to you, Minister, is also, my question to you is that the issue of Nkana closing up the taps, in case you did not know, the people of Karusale do not have taps. They are drinking from shallow boreholes and the boreholes that have been erected for them. So how then does Nkana come in and stop them from drinking water, especially that there is no piped water in that area? So, Minister, my question, are you sure that none of the residents of Karusale consumed that contaminated water? I thank you, Minister.
The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Madam Speaker, I can only imagine that you are sympathetic. Instead of a specific question, there are so many things being crowded. Madam Speaker, the people of Karusale, no one has given instructions that children must stop going to school or that they must be stopped. I think the trenches that are being talked about are meant for us to construct the traps that are very necessary. When it starts raining, whilst we are doing this exercise, the assessment, before we do the cleanup, there can be a potential of secondary contamination. So we need to put these measures, and this is what has been prescribed by the consultant. Now, these trenches are not meant to inhibit or to disturb people's movements. But the Member of Parliament, if he feels that the activities that are happening to the extent that the movement of the people, the children, and those that are in Karusale are being, their rights to movement or association is being infringed upon, I think let the Member of Parliament put it in writing so that the ministry that is dealing with this issue can make a follow-up and then take necessary steps. In terms of the water, when she says that, are you sure those people don't have, they are not connected to reticulated water, are you sure that there are no people that drank contaminated water? Madam Speaker, you may wish to appreciate that I was responding to the question from the Member of Parliament for Chipili, who said when the accident happened, Nkana Water was still pumping and supplying water, and that there was a likelihood that people consumed the contaminated water. And I did say that when the accident happened, the Nkana Water had shut down before the pollution reached the intake. Now, the issue that she's connecting about the boreholes, again, I responded that when this incident was reported, moved in, Mine Safety Department moved in, and different state security wings to ensure that the place was combed and people were alerted not to get into contact with water, that they should also abandon their shallow wells, and that they were going to be supplied water through the water bowsers. The same day, water was being ferried to those areas, and to date, water is being ferried for those people. So I can say here that I do not have any information that anyone consumed water which was contaminated. But I just want to appeal to the Member of Parliament for Kalulushi that as the people's representative for Kalulushi, feel free to come to my office to work with us so that the issues that you have on the ground, we can address them together. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. That concludes that segment. We make progress. Questions for oral answer under Standing Order 80. The Honorable Member for Katombola.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for according the people of Katombola constituency to ask question number 30. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Honorable Member of Parliament for Katombola constituency, Dr. Clement Andeleki, asked the Vice President the following questions. A. How many ministers had overstayed in office in 2016 and were ordered by the courts of law to refund the money they earned, had paid back the money as of July 2025? B. He asked how many former ministers had not paid back as of that date at A. C. How much money in total was owed by the former ministers at B? And D. What measures the government is taking to recover the unpaid amount? Madam Speaker, in response to the question raised by Honorable Andeleki, I wish to inform this august House that as of July 2025, 59 ministers who had overstayed in office and were ordered of law to refund the money they earned paid it back in full. B. 4 ministers who were ordered to pay by the courts of law had not yet paid as of July 2025. C. Money still owed as of July 2025 due to non-payment by the 4 ministers amounts to 230,064 kwacha 36 ngwe. 230,064 ngwe. D. The matter regarding the outstanding amount has been referred to the Office of the Attorney General for appropriate action. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Supplementary questions, the Honorable Member for Katombola.
Thank you very much, Your Honor, Vice President, for the response. Madam Vice President, who are those 4 ministers, former ministers, who have not yet paid? I thank you.
Honor the Vice President. Please kindly repeat your question, Honorable Member for Katombola.
4 former who have not yet paid back in respect. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Her Honor the Vice President.
I believe this should be in public domain. These are Honorable Mr. Chishimba Kambwili, Honorable Mr. Faxon Shamenda, Honorable Colonel Panji Kaunda, and Honorable Mr. Dawson Kafwaya.
The last one was who? No, that.
Okay. Dawson Kafwaya, not Mototo.
That's why we were asking, so that we are clear. The next question, the Honorable Member for Shuangando.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Interest according to our procedure that I was one of those ministers who out of the 50. And I want to acknowledge, Madam Speaker, that yes, indeed, when the constitutional ruling was made, we were ably advised by the Attorney General to comply with the court ruling. And that's how it should be. Whether in government you should be able to comply with the court orders. Your Honor, the Vice President, why is it so much a problem for you as government to acknowledge court orders and comply with them like we did. Here we are sitting with a deferred bill, Madam, which has been found wanting by the Constitutional Court. Madam Speaker, he who calls the others to equity must come with clean hands. And that's where we are.
Order. Honorable Member for Shiwangandu. We were asking follow-up questions on the question that has been asked by the Honorable Member for Katombola. If the Honorable Member has an interest in the other issue of the Constitutional Court ruling and non-observance of that ruling, then the Honorable Member has a right to put in a question so that the Honor the Vice President is not taken by surprise, because that is a new question altogether. So ask a question arising out of the question that has been asked. Member for Katombola, you may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Honor the Vice President, are you an example from us, the previous government, in obeying court orders when they are issued? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Speculative question. Maybe I give Her Honor the Vice President to respond. Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam. I would like to thank the Honorable Member. I think that he is still trying to draw me into the previous question. But really, complying with the court, I think there are many issues that come, and compliance is one of them. If one does not comply, then the party that is affected has a right on further. That is the way the courts run. If there is anything that you think we're dealing with and you are free to appeal further and further, and I don't know where. But this government is a law-abiding government. But remember, the government has responsibilities also. Thank you.
Very much. The Honorable Member for Kabwata.
I'm grateful, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Your Honor the Vice President, I just wanted to find out what measures you have put in place as a government, so that what happened in the past where a former head of state makes a declaration without following what the Constitution says. So what measures have you put up in place so that we do not fall in the same trap? I thank you.
Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member. I really can't understand when he says declaration. There are issues where the President has to make a declaration. But if it is unlawful, I think that is a different matter, and it is our belief that our President will be lawful, has been lawful, and will be lawful. So if he makes a declaration within the law, that's fine. But a declaration that breaches the law is something else. So really, we have no intention of making such declarations the Honorable is referring to. If I understood him well, there is no such intention of declaration of unlawful, issues like leaving ministers in office without changing the law. That is what we are looking at. The law provided for when the ministers should exit. So if you want them to stay, look at the law. That is what you do. So I hope that such a situation does not arise. It has not arisen. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Ron.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to ask a follow-up question to Her Honor the Vice President. Her Honor the Vice President, greetings from the people of Ron constituency. Her Honor the Vice President, I want to understand when the Constitutional Court passed this verdict that all former ministers should pay back the money that they obtained when they stayed in the office illegally. Was there any provision, Your Honor the Vice President, since this money left the Treasury, was there a provision in the ruling that they should also pay interest, including those that have not paid? Are they going to pay interest on it? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you. Really, I would be misleading people because I don't remember that particular point or in the ruling that the ministers should pay interest. As it were, right now, the Ministry of Finance is simply following up the 4. That means that they complied with the ruling, those that paid. They complied with the ruling. If they hadn't, I think we would have known that they have not paid. But it's only the 4 that have not yet paid going through. Thank you.
Thank you. The last one will be the Honorable Member for Luena. Or Katombo, you still have a question? Honorable Member for Katombo, do you have another question? Okay, so the last one will be the Honorable Member for Luena.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, one of the possible ambiguities that led to ministers staying in office illegally was supposedly arising from lack of clarity in the Constitution, in that it only spoke about Parliament being dissolved, but did not specifically say ministers should vacate office. Now, on behalf of the people of Luena, we note that in the current Constitutional Amendment Bill number 7, on which your government, through a technical committee, is consulting the people of Zambia, one of the objectives is to clearly state that ministers will vacate office 90 days before a general election. Are you in a position to confirm to the people of Zambia, Your Honor the Vice President, that supporting this amendment proposal is also going to ensure that the window or opportunity for people to abuse the state resources, as it happened in the past, will be sealed and so sealed permanently? I thank you.
Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I would like to thank the Honorable Member for that very clear way of asking this kind of question. And indeed, let me use this opportunity to call on the people of Zambia to really make submissions to the Constitution so that you pick some of these things that will bring clarity to the Constitution, like he has mentioned. Now it is clearly in this, if it passes, in the proposed amendment to the Constitution, it is stated that ministers will vacate the office 90 days. But it also states how long Parliament is going to stay. Because the difference is very important, Madam. In the previous one, Parliament was dissolved. And the ministers are appointed from Parliament. So there was no base, no footing for those ministers. I think that is the way the interpretation went. But, yes, sir. But in the proposal, the members of Parliament should read through. If I have read through properly, Parliament dissolves a day before election. But this is how unselfish the President is. If at all this passes, that the ministers will vacate 90 days before the election date. Something for me, but this is the way it is. So let people read through the draft amendments so that when it passes here, there will be no owners that we can start arguing about. But clarity on the matter of ministers remaining in office is very, very clearly put, Honorable, and thank you for bringing that on board. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you very much. Next question, the Honorable Member for Kanchivia. Honorable Member for Kanchivia to be present, and no prior arrangements having been made, the question lapses in accordance with our standing orders. Next question, the Honorable Member for Ron.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Question number 32.
The Honorable Minister of Mines and Minerals Development.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The Honorable Member for Ron, Honorable George Chibuye, is asking the Minister of Mines, number one, how many mine accidents were recorded countrywide from 2022 to 2024 year by year, and B, how many casualties were recorded arising from the accidents above, what the major cause of the accidents were, and what measures are being taken to address the recurrence of mine accidents. Madam Speaker, question A, between 2022 and 2024, of 202 mining accidents were recorded, broken as follows. In 2022, fatal accidents were 16, serious accidents 51, and third-party accidents 6. In 2023, fatal were 19, serious accidents 43, third-party 3, fatal, in 2024, fatal were 12, serious were 45, third party 7, total 202. B, Madam Speaker, between 2022 and 2024, a total of 315 casualties from mining accidents were recorded, broken down as follows. 2022, number of casualties 16, serious 56, third party 14. In 2023, fatal were 22, serious accidents 50, and third party 30. In 2024, fatal were 31, serious 67, and third party 29, a total of 315. C, Madam Speaker, the major causes of mining accidents between 2022 and 2024 were as follows. The fatal accidents in 2022, the major cause was moving machinery. Also, the serious accident was as a result of moving machinery. Third party in 2022 mostly were fall of ground. In 2023, fatal accidents, moving machinery, serious accidents, moving machinery, third party were floods of water and mud. 2024, fatal accidents, fall of ground, serious accidents, moving machinery, and third party accidents, fall of ground. D, Madam Speaker, government through the Ministry of Mines and Minerals Development under the Mine Safety Department promotes occupational health and safety in the mining sector. This is done by ensuring that mining activities involving machinery, explosives, and mineral exploitation are conducted in line with the Minerals Regulation Commission Act and its subsidiary legislation. Additionally, the Ministry undertakes periodic inspections, safety audits, risk assessments,
and awareness programs to enforce compliance with safety, health and environment regulations, while also fostering sustainable mining practices that support investment, job creation, and the well-being of the people of Zambia. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Ron.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Minister, thank you very much for the response and for the statistics that you have given this House and the nation. Honorable Minister, just a few weeks ago, if I may say so, you signed an SI, which is the local content. And on top of that, Madam Speaker, the UPND government is envisaging to increase copper production from the current 800,000 metric tons to 3 million metric tons by the year 2030 and above, which means, Honorable Minister, that there will be a lot of mining activities and they're likely to increase. If I look at your statistics in terms of accidents and casualties and fatal ones, they were fluctuating. For example, in 2022, in terms of accidents, there were 16, you said, and 2023, they increased to 19. 2024, they reduced to 12. With the vision that the New Dawn government has in terms of increasing copper production and opening in more mining companies, what is your ministry doing to ensure that we improve on the record of accidents and also on the record of fatalities? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Mines and Minerals Development.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Member. Very important question. Being a visionary as he is, President HH in 2021, just after taking power, of course, there was that declaration that we will do 3 million tons, which we are actually on course. We are expecting that this year, Madam Speaker, we'll hit the psychological 1 million tons barrier, which is, leading us to that. So that, indeed, yes, we noticed that the way the mining sector or the Ministry of Mines is seated would not be able, in its current form or at that particular time, to be able to counter the kind of activities that are going to ensue because of the visionary leadership of President HH of attaining a certain target of copper production. And that is why we brought to this House a regulator through the Minerals Commission. So now, because this Parliament supported that bill, which is now an Act of Parliament, we realized that in the current form at that time, the ministry couldn't effectively supervise. And that's why we needed to bring in a regulator. And so the regulator now is in place, and commencement orders were signed already, the CEO appointed, and therefore we are moving to actualize now the Minerals Commission. That will be a regulator dotted right across the country. The way the MSD or the Mine Safety Department was seated in Kitwe with very few bureaus dotted across the country, we couldn't really regulate and check properly how mining activities are taking place. So that has been taken care of as we were looking at that vision of 3 million tons. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Nkana.
Honorable Minister of Mines, the numbers of people who are dying in these mining activities are quite concerning. And you and I knows that the prerequisite to any mining activity before we commence any mining activities is to ensure that safety regulations are in place. And so these reports are indications that there's a failure at ensuring that safety regulations are properly followed. Now, I am worried, Madam Speaker, at the accuracy of the figures that have been given in the response from the Minister. As an example, Honorable Minister, the ground fell in Chingola and a number of our young people were buried alive. What is not very clear is how many were buried and how many so far have been, picked out. The same is for Nkana in the Tering Dam. Quite a number of them were reported buried. How many were retrieved is a speculative issue. Can you take this opportunity, Honorable Minister, to inform the nation the exact number of young people that were buried in Chingola and those were buried in Kitwe, and how many of those were dug out and how many still remains still buried? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Mines and Minerals Development.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member, and thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the figures that we have given are as it stands. If we are to go in the specifics, it means that then a different question should come specifically for what happened in Chingola. But the figures that are being given here, Madam Speaker, they are consolidated according to the reports. As the Honorable Member rightly said, all the figures now that are not here are for speculative purposes. People can speculate. But what we have given, Madam Speaker, is the official position. This includes all the accidents that happened in the country. But if we are to go in specifics, then a question can come and we'll be more than ready, Madam Speaker, to be able to give a position of government. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. What's the point of order, Honorable Member Fonkana?
Madam Speaker, for the record of Standing Order number 71, when a question is asked as to how many accidents we had countrywide, when the Minister is coming up with a response, he will be given specific figures relating to which mining accident and where. When we ask a simple question, how many people died in Chingola, how many people died in Kitwe, I don't think that is an issue that we must leave to another question at another time. I think the Minister does have those figures, because when he was being given those figures, they were clearly indicating which mining site had an accident and how many people died in that accident. I don't think he's asking too much on behalf of the people of Zambia, how many people died in Chingola, or how many people were reported buried in Chingola, how many have been retrieved, and the same for Kitwe. I don't think that's too much to ask, Madam Speaker. I seek your indulgence.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member Fonkana. When you look at question number 32, the Honorable Member for Ron was asking how many mine accidents were recorded countrywide from 2022 to 2024, year by year. So the question is asking for an answer giving consolidated numbers year by year, not accident by accident or mine by mine. So it will be very difficult for the Honorable Minister at the moment to give that specific answer that you require. As the Honorable Minister has stated, please, if you want that question put, you can put it in. It will be processed and the Honorable Minister will be requested to address it. Let's make progress. The Honorable Member for Ron.
Thank you once more, Madam Speaker, and Minister, thank you very much for the response. Minister, I'll still refer you back to the increased number of mines. The increased number of mines that are being reopened, and I want to press it on record, Madam Speaker, through the Minister of Mines, to sincerely thank His Excellency Dr. Hakainde Hichilema for being with the people of Ron constituency for reopening 28 Shaft, which is now called New Luansha Mine. And I also want to put it on record that just recently the provincial minister actually toured the mine. Now, Honorable Minister, this is the mine, if I may be a little bit personal or declare interest, Madam Speaker. This is the mine that was closed 23 years ago, Honorable Minister. And it was flooded. It's an underground mine. And it is a 1,200 meter deep mine, which means that when production starts, I am worried as a member of Parliament for Ron constituency. How much help are you going to give so that once production starts at Ron, at 28 Shaft, we do not face any challenges in terms of accidents
or fatalities that will disturb or disrupt the mining activities at 28 shaft? How much engagement, in short, are you going to take personally to ensure that, being a new mine that was closed 23 years ago and we don't know the sitting underground, how much as a ministry, how much interest are you going to put in terms of the mine safety department to ensure that as we are doing production in Wansha, we don't record any fatalities? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Mines and Minerals Development.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Member, for that very important question, and thank you for acknowledging the fact that a mine that was forgotten 23 years ago, people thought it will never come back to life, but because of the visionary leadership of one President HH, there we have it. It's above, Madam Speaker, as we are speaking, it's getting to 85% in terms of, dewatering. You can now easily see the tunnels, the haulages of the old structure. So it's really something that is exciting to us. However, we have not just neglected it like that. We do understand that with it having had a lot of water within itself, it means the grounds could have been affected in terms of weaknesses and all the infrastructure that is there. So basically, as we do with any other mine, and Madam Speaker, I want to say this so that we are clear. A mining activity anywhere is just like the way life is. You cannot avoid accidents. You try as much as possible to make sure that the mine is operating safely, and that's why the Mine Safety Department is, as a matter of fact, it is a requirement of the law that each mine must have a Mine Safety Department seated within itself, which is supposed to be supervised now by the regulator that we have put in place. So, even as they are doing the dewatering, the Mine Safety Department, now the regulator, still checks what is happening in terms of, safety adherence. And even when they begin to reconstruct the mine, the regulator will be checking to make sure that that thing does not become a source of sorrow, instead of it being a source of joy for the people of Luansha and the mine workers that will be working on the mine. So really, we'll be following through as a ministry to make sure that, as much as we want production, but production must be done in a safe environment, and the lives of our people must be protected. What does it profit us if we mine the copper and lose lives that are doing the mining? So really, that would be a matter that this government takes very seriously. It's not only for Luansha 28 shaft, but even other mines. We have to mine sustainably. We have to mine safely. We have to mine in a proper manner, and we have to mine legally. These are things and points that President HH has given time and again, that there has to be safe mining, there has to be legal mining, there has to be formal trade, and areas where mining activities are taking place must be secure. So really, we are running with that mantra to make sure that our people are protected. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The next question, the Honorable Member for Isoka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The people of Isoka are asking question number 33. I submit.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Nakapunda, Member of Parliament for Isoka, would like to find out from the Minister of Health, in A, whether the government has plans to procure beds and furniture for the following health facilities in Isoka District. 1. Isoka District Hospital. 2. Songoro Rural Health Post. 3. Nazareth Rural Health Post. 4. Mulongo Rural Health Post. 5. Rondamaka Rural Health Post. 6. Lorezi Rural Health Post. 7. Nachisungu Rural Health Post. 8. Mwaisen Rural Health Post. 9. Prisons Rural Health Post. 10. Longwe Rural Health Post. And 11. Palakata Rural Health Post. In B, if so, when the plans will be implemented. And in C, if there are no such plans, why? Madam Speaker, government has plans to procure beds and furniture in the listed health facilities. This will be achieved through working hand in hand with the local authority. One hand, government through Ministry of Health has planned to procure beds for level 1 health facilities, including Isoka District Hospital. On the other hand, the local authority using CDF will procure beds and furniture for the listed health facilities. In B, Madam Speaker, the plan will be implemented beginning first quarter of 2026. C, as mentioned earlier, government has plans to procure, therefore, C falls off. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Supplementary questions? The Honorable Member for Isoka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, can you provide a specific timeline, exactly timeline, for when the procurement process for the beds and furniture is expected to begin, and what the estimated completion date is? The people of Isoka want to know exactly timeline. Your Honorable Minister, I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Minister of Health.
Madam Speaker, I said procurement will start first quarter of 2026 without specific date when. And there is an agreement between the Council Secretary, and the Minister of Health that for the rural health centers, CDF, they will buy. What will be required by the Minister of Health in this budget will be to buy for the first level hospital. And this is an ongoing, as at the moment, we have already started with some machines. There is an aesthetic machine which has already been bought, operating bed, theater lights, and monitoring machines. These are already done. For the first level, that we are doing it just as we are doing for other hospitals. For these clinics and health centers, these we are in agreement with the Council through CDF. They'll make some provisions. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Isoka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As you have said, Honorable Minister, will the procurement of beds and furniture be done in phases, or will it be done one time process, and how will the rollout be prioritized? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you for the follow-up.
Sorry, Honorable Minister, before you respond, there is an indication for a point of order by the Honorable Member for Ron. What's the point of order, Honorable Member?
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. I think this is my second point of order from the time that I came into this House. Madam Speaker, Standing Order 219. Madam Speaker, is the Honorable Member, my older brother, Honorable Mufarari, in order to come to this House with a very dangerous weapon, disregarding Standing Order 219. Madam Speaker, I seek your serious ruling. I thank you.
The honorable member for Parliament, honorable nominated member, is in order. He sought permission to come to the house with because he has got an injury. Somebody somewhere threw a kalirose. But he did take permission to use. He is not feeling well. Kalirose was on a lighter note. So the Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First and foremost, I must say that we are working in collaboration with my colleague in the Ministry of Local Government. All clinics or rural health centers constructed using CDF, these will be financed by CDF. The money your government, under the leadership of Hakainde Chilema, the President, from 1.6 to 40.1 million. It's a lot of money. That in phases as you move. Because in certain constituencies, they have put up a lot of them, like Kalabo, Riwa, has put up about 10. You got 10 rural health centers. You can't expect to buy those at one time. As we are moving into 2026, we shall move phase by phase because of other demanding areas. But for level 1, that is the responsibility of the government, and through ZAMSA, we shall be buying as we complete these hospitals. I know in Isoka, you need about 96 beds. And also for maternity annexes, you need 22 beds. These we shall be raising with my colleague in the Ministry for Local Government. It's both government money. Whether we wait for finance or it comes through CDF, it's government money. But whichever comes first, and looking at the entire country, we have also to balance the equation. This is a government for every Zambian, not what we used to see in the past, whether there was a haircut on one side. This time is wholly. Wherever there is a need, we have to save every Zambian in every corner. When there is equipment for soccer, we shall attend to it. Whenever it's complete, we have to deal with it adequately. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The next question, the Honorable Member for Katombola.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. The people of Katombola wish to ask question number 34. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Acting Minister of Defense.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Honorable Member for Katombola, Honorable Clement Andaleki, asks the Honorable Minister of Defense the following questions. A, whether the government has any plans to reintroduce the National Service Program for secondary school leavers countrywide. B, if so, when the plans will be implemented. C, whether the program will be compulsory. And D, what the estimated annual cost of the program is. Madam Speaker, the response from the Honorable Minister of Defense is as follows. With the fiscal space permitting, government may reconsider reintroducing the National Service Program for secondary school leavers. It is important to note, however, that despite the fiscal space limitation, government has introduced the Zambia Voluntary Training Skills Program, whose aims, Madam Speaker, amongst others are to, 1, offer basic military training amongst the youth, 2, inculcate national values and principles, and 3, have a broad understanding of agriculture and many other skills. Madam Speaker, in view of our response above, the other questions B, C, and D, therefore, fall away. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The supplementary questions, the Honorable Member for Katombola.
I have no supplementary question, Madam Speaker. I thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Nkana.
Madam Speaker, this question is very dear to me. My father used to work for the National Service, and I grew up in the National Service camp. And the design of the National Service was basically to become production, sites. The fears, Honorable Minister, of the limited, fiscal space, government, if the original idea was them being production hubs, we went ahead, recruited people as opposed to them volunteering, recruited people and we turned those facilities into production, able to raise a lot to ultimately take care of the financial needs for those hubs. Don't you think, with all the opportunities available in agriculture and the like, these ZNS hubs would actually make their own money and finance their operations? Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Acting Minister of Defense.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Honorable Member from Nkana, thank you for that question, appears to be asking me for my opinion with regard to the potential for Zambia National Service. I'll answer the question from the perspective of what Zambia National Service is already achieving. As a matter of fact, it is a productive hub and it is contributing effectively to the GDP of the country. Whether or not the model that is being asked about by the Honorable Member for Katombora is sustainable, given the capital costs that are required to be able to pick up all secondary school leavers and put them in ZNS, is a question that requires, I think, a more finesse in terms of understanding what the cost implications are, what the cost-benefit analysis would be. But speaking from a principled point of view, I would agree with the Honourable Member from Nkana that ZNS has got immense potential to contribute even more to the country's GDP and to the economy. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honourable Member for Kwacha.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity given. Honorable Minister, ZNS program was initiated by the first Republican President, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, and it was well intended to groom the youths, especially from the secondary school level, to adopt to good moral standards as well as physical well-being. And you can even attest this from the conduct of, you can attest this from the conduct of some of us that actually passed through ZNS training in the early 80s, the way we conduct ourselves, the way we speak, and the way we look after our wives in homes. It is a very, very good intended program. I would like, Honorable Minister, for you to be specific when you said it may be reintroduced. How soon will that be? Because this program, for me, it is a very, very good program. So we just need your specific time frame. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Acting Minister of Defense.
Thank you, and I thank the Honourable Member for Kwacha for that elaborate question. Indeed, Madam Speaker, the virtues of the ZNS program, as introduced by our forefathers, cannot be overstated. The answer that we gave on the floor of the House as to the question whether there is an intention is heavily dependent on the fiscal space. So as we continue through the prudent fiscal management, certainly these intentions will come closer to fruition. However, would be speculative at this, would not be able to tell can absorb. We can exercise patience. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The next question, the Honorable
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Question number 35.
The Honorable Minister.
Suspended until 17 hours, and on the floor of the House was the Minister of Energy, Honorable Malozo Chikote, just about to respond to a question that has been to hear what the question. Now we have a look at business that has been considered on the ministerial statement by the Honorable Minister of Economy and Environment on the status of the comprehensive that the Honorable Madam Speaker has rendered on the floor of the House involving visitors to Parliament, and these are City of Hope Secondary School in Chilanga District, Magoe Secondary School in Mazabuka District, and also Mukando Secondary School. She also did recognize the presence in the gallery of visitors from Parliament of Uganda, and she did welcome the visitors to the institution. Madam Speaker also did remind the House that the process of reviewing the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders at 2024 commenced about 2 weeks ago. In this regard, a circular dated 15th October 2025 was issued to all honorable members seeking their views or proposals aimed at streamlining the standing order in order to enhance the smooth running of the House. And so, honorable members have been reminded that the deadline for the submission of proposals is this Friday, the 31st of October 2025, and I encourage to submit their proposals within the remaining time. And of course, we did hear Her Honor the Vice President indicate business of the House earlier on, and the business of the House for the next 2 weeks includes reports that will be rendered on the floor of the House, reports about international conferences. There's also the motion of supply, which is going to be moved by the Minister of Finance and National Planning. Some bills will be considered, as well as parliamentary reports, and also others to be considered are rulings, if there will be any, and also some ministerial statements, as well as private members' motion. So that is business that has been considered on the floor of the House so far, and the House has taken a 20 minutes break. Just now we go on a short break. We come back at 17. Good afternoon.
In today's world, good governance requires planning, innovation, and collaboration. The National Assembly of Zambia, in partnership with Inter-Paris, the European Union's global project for parliaments, hosted a high-level workshop on parliamentary strategic planning. The two-day workshop was held from 17th to 18th September 2025 at Southern Sun Hotel in Lusaka. The workshop brought together parliamentary leaders and staff from across Africa, Europe and Canada under one shared goal to strengthen the foundations of democratic institutions through robust strategic planning. Speaking during the official opening, Speaker of the National Assembly, the Right Honorable Ms. Nelly B.K. Muti, State Council, MP, FAPRA, set the tone for the workshop, stating that parliaments need strong strategic plans that reflect national priorities and are guided by core values and based on evidence.
The National Assembly of Zambia is proud to be among parliaments taking deliberate steps to position strategic planning at the core of institutional development. To this end, the National Assembly of Zambia has partnered with the European Union and Inter-Paris with the aim of strengthening the capacity of Parliament in strategic planning. I am happy to note that the program is built on the principle of demand-driven, peer-to-peer exchange and learning between our Parliament and the national parliaments of the European Union. This partnership reflects our shared belief, and capacity building must be collaborative, contextual, and responsive to the needs of each Parliament. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, while I acknowledge that strategic development planning has proven to be constructive in supporting Parliament in development plans, it has